Hi and welcome back to part 2 of this watercolour painting of Showery Tor. Now I have a confession to make. I was not happy with that sky after I finished last time. So basically what I've done now is I sat it in a bath of water and scrubbed at it and took most of the colour back out of it, as you'll see. Hopefully I've done enough, but it just goes to show that you get carried away sometimes, and I lived with it for 24 hours and I thought, no, this is just not good enough. Fortunately, the paper that I used of £300 was up to the task of being scrubbed. So we'll carry on from there, and I'll do a quick comparison when the video starts, just to show you how I left it yesterday and how it is now. So let's get on with it. Right, here's a quick clip of the video as we left it yesterday. Pretty horrendous, basically. I went completely against all what I said I was going to do, with basically leaving the background fairly diffused and subdued, and it would have competed horribly with the standing rocks that you see now before you. This is how it looks now. It's had a good wash in a water bath, and it's taken the colour back to more of a diffused colour, and it's actually blended it quite a bit as well. So we'll see how it goes, and I'm going to start off by painting Roughtor, I think, which is this form here. This is Showery Tor, that's Roughtor. So first job is I need a fairly strong line to do the outline there around the rocks. So I'll mix up a fairly dark mixture, some water in the palette. I want it tending towards the brown side because it all looks quite brown on that top there. So let's put some burnt sienna in there. And some ultramarine, I think, to make it down to the quite a dark outline we want against the sky there. A bit more, I think. And let's put some burnt sienna. Let's go with the central well here. These are still all the colours left from yesterday. They'll reactivate, but I'll obviously need to work on them a bit. Some more burnt sienna. Perhaps a touch of red in that. And a bit more water. And there's sort of a browny green in there, so if we go for some Aureolin, just a touch of cobalt in that, not a bit too much. And then we'll put some red in that as well, light red. Yeah, sort of a browny green. Just get a slightly bigger mop, and we'll introduce some water. This is for the area where I'm going to do the browny green. Okay, put in a couple of streaks of this is burnt sienna going on now. dark in this as well. Okay. Sort of round that there. Just add some of these bits. Just blend that in. We'll do the dark bit. Keeping it fairly jagged, certainly not smooth. And down here, it comes down all the way to this point here. Across this bit here. It goes to a slightly thinner line there, so I'll just... Then there's more rocks this side. I'll probably darken these a little bit more when it's had a chance to dry a bit, but just blend that in slightly. Get a smaller brush on that, I think. Some dry brush actually into this area here while it's still damp. Raw sienna in this bit here. Just strengthen that peak slightly. Okay, that's going to need some more work, but I'll let it dry at that. Don't want to overwork it at this stage because I'll start to end up with lifting too much colour out of it. Right, so we'll let that dry. We'll focus on this rock now. So I want some purpley, sort of a purpley blue, grey. That's some more. Touch of brown in that, I think, just to take a bit of the purple off on it. Okay. Put this on as a base coat to start off with. A couple of deep channels in the rocks there, so I'll just put that in as darks. Okay. Let's don't want this to dry with a hard edge there, so just a bit of water. There's enough colour on there now to basically do what I want. A bit of white. I will pick some of this up as highlights later. Okay, that's the top of it done. Right. So next section down. It's quite a deep shadow because it's quite grooved. This is, so making it dark at the bottom. Sort of coming up into the rock there. And also into that bit there. Okay. Let's just pull some of that colour up into that bit. That's a bit darker there, so let's put some more colour into that. Does lighten up a touch. So I'll put some more darks on this afterwards. So it is quite a deep shadow in there. Okay. And that's the second section, and the next section is quite dark, so we'll go with ultramarine. Light red. And just a touch of rose madder, just to bring it in line with the other one. Okay. bit more along the seam of that there. And the back of that rock. What I will do is on this granite has got like a very granular finish, so it sort of lends itself to putting some spatter on there in different colours, black, white, grey, but obviously that needs to be dry, and the bottom one is quite dark again, so bottom section here, and that comes down into the landscape. Make that even darker, I think. Better. Sort of rough this up a bit. That comes all the way across there to that point there. Some more paint in that. Okay, now using a dampish brush, still plenty of paint on here just to pull that colour up into the rocks there, so sunlight's catching that. So redwoods up a little bit there, and right in there it's quite dark. Once again, just feather that into the rock there. Okay, now there's another one lying actually on top there. Again, it's very, very dark, so let's make this even darker now because it's really, really dark. So it's more ultramarine, a touch of light red, and we'll go in here. Sort of casting a relief shadow on the back of that there, so that comes all the way across there like that, sort of from that corner. Just go back to the, put some slightly different colouring in that, and that's sort of against the skyline there. There's sort of veins actually where the winds formed this, so that's the direction of the brush strokes I'm using there. Just soften that edge slightly there, I think, as well. Onto that rock. Put some of that really dark actually into the shadows there. as well, just to pull it into place. I'll just soften that slightly. Really dark at the back of these rocks, so I'll put some more into that and just feather it out. I don't want to fall into the same trap again of overworking this, so what I'll probably do is I'll let this dry now so that I can work some more on top of it. So I'll just put a bit more dark there. Right. Well, there's a dark section that comes down here, quite dark, sort of into that section there, just like a, looks like a rock that's actually on edge, just in that bit there. And sort of casting a little bit of a shadow back off that. So let's just put that in as well. That's it. And then the front of it is sort of got slightly warmed by the sun. So if I take some of this Oriolin, perhaps a touch of burnt sienna in it, and just put that in there. Touch of dark across the bottom there. Just lose that edge just a little bit. Okay, we'll leave that at that for the moment. That's dried quite a lot, so let's put some dry brushwork on towards the top of this rise here, top of the tor. It is quite rough. Well, it would be rough tor. So just put some dry brushwork actually on the edge there. A bit more there. Just darken down the burnt sienna a little bit. Put some of that in. A lot of water on that. I'll just spread it out. Yep. Right, okay. There's a lot of green in this, sort of a yellowy green in this foreground, but there are rocks all over it. So I'll paint it and leave loads and loads of gaps to fill in with rocks afterwards. So I need to mix up some more greenish colour, quite a bit of it. So let's go with this again. So look at that. That was the Indian yellow. That's left in my palette from yesterday. Don't think that's green enough. That's not bad actually. Let's put a bit more water in that, just as a base coat. Foreground is, again, there's quite a bit of burnt sienna in that, so I'll use a bigger brush and put some of this green actually on there. As I say, I'll leave quite a lot of stones to show through it. An awful lot of stones just in front of the, so let's just dab it in. Water. Bit of burnt sienna in the foreground now. There is some rocks right in the front here, so that's just acting as a first coat really. A bit more of that green in there. Brighten it up a little bit. Just want one or two more darker areas actually in this. Try to put the contrast a little bit. And it goes quite dark at the front here, so let's. Right, using a smaller brush now just to touch in a few more bits of green, just to give some contrasting areas. It's still quite damp, so it's all around these stones. and make that quite a bit darker, I think. So we'll have some ultramarine, iridium and burnt sienna. Some really dark bits in here as well. Well, that's too green. Put some more burnt sienna in that. Just blend these in a bit. Okay, that'll do for the first coat. Right, get the hairdryer on that. Right, before we go any further, I'm going to put this middle distance in. There's horizon line across there which is sort of in soft focus, and then there's a middle distance which is obviously paler than this bit, sort of going back into the distance. So that will be the next task. This is dried now, but we'll do that horizon first. Bit of water, some ultramarine I think, and we'll grey it down with a touch of burnt sienna, not too much. Let's put a bit more ultramarine in that. Bit more water. Don't want it too strong, as I say, it is in the distance. I'll just dampen the dividing line. So it diffuses slightly, and also this side. Okay, let's just put a spot of this across here. Just diffusing this into the background. I don't want a hard line with that. I'll do the same here. Want it nice and soft. Will do nicely. Right, just wet this bottom edge here. Don't want a hard line with that. That'll do nicely. Right, some slightly bluey green now. So if I go with this green, put some blue in that. Turn over here. Right. Just right down into that slightly, and likewise that. Break it up just a touch. Right, just get the hairdryer on that. Right, that's dry now. I'm just going to use a finer brush and just put there's one or two demarcation lines just in the distance there. Don't want them too strong. Just bits on the field. Just take that back a bit. And also the same over here. So I don't do too strong, just a hint that something's there. The distant trees. Use that slightly. Yeah, that's enough actually. I don't want to draw too much detail in that. Okay, so I think next job is I'll strengthen up some of the shadows on this rock formation.